Welcome everybody to this video. My name is Derek with Remote Business Academy, and today I am with my good friend Zach, who is a master at digital real estate. If you don't know what that is yet, don't worry, we'll get into kind of the nuts and bolts of things a little bit later on in this interview. But I just wanted to bring on Zach just because he's one of the most successful people within our community and is actually helping coach our students with Rank and Rent Digital Real Estate. So welcome to the interview, Zach. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I think first to start out, Zach, you want to give us kind of a background on who you are, your professional background, maybe some education that you've had, just so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. So actually, I have been a full-time, I guess you could call it a youth pastor for about 20 years now. And when we moved to St. George, where I currently live, things were insanely expensive. Houses were twice what we were paying. And so I had been looking for something. My wife and I had been looking for something. And that's when I kind of stumbled across this whole idea of digital real estate and I've been doing it for about 10 years. Like I said, I've been here in Southern Utah, and it was a game changer for us to come across this model of digital real estate. So that's kind of how I came across it.
Awesome. And you've been doing digital real estate for the last 9 years?
Yes. Yeah. Almost 10 years now. Yeah. Like I said, I still, and it's I love it. One of the reasons I love it so much is I'm still a youth pastor, a full-time youth pastor, but I do this, and it's really kind of my side hustle, although it has replaced my salary, but it's still wonderful. And so I can do it part-time, pretty passively, and still do a full-time job that I love.
Awesome. Okay. So over this last almost decade, what have you been able to build? What have you seen other people be able to build? Obviously, you've gotten to know other people that are also practicing this model alongside you. What kind of results are possible with digital real estate?
It's a really good question. Anything is possible, honestly, because I tend to focus on service-based industries because of that very reason. I don't want a ceiling like you can find in a lot of other, jobs or whatever you're doing. There are so many new businesses that open every single year. We're talking millions just in the United States. And service-based businesses are about as recession-proof as you can get. I think we all learned that during COVID, right? When COVID hit, a lot of things shut down, but people still needed plumbing. People still needed HVAC. People still needed repairs on windows. People still needed like the service-based industries, right? Those became kind of protected industries. And so that's really where I focused actually for the past 9 years. So what is possible? Well, any and everything, because there are so many businesses out there. And the service-based industries like home service, when I say service-based, I mean, like home services. A lot of these guys, these contractors, they really don't know what they're doing with their marketing. And so they actually need our help. And that's what I love as well, that I'm not just coming in and trying to take their money, but I'm actually helping their businesses grow as well. As far as what's possible, I think probably what you're asking, and maybe you'll get to this, is like, how much how much can people make? For probably about the past 5 years, I've been a coach in a couple of different groups, and I have seen there are some people who come in with a goal. They're like, I just want a couple $1,000s extra a month, and I think that's doable. I think that's doable within 60 days, honestly. And there's no reason that can't be done within 60 days. There's other people who I'm not the most successful one at this particular business model that I know, but we're to that point where we're looking at $30,000 a month is kind of where we're aimed at, and we're almost there. My original goal is around $3,000 extra a month, because at that time 9 years ago, I thought an extra $3,000 would solve all my problems. And don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, but we just noticed there's more things that we wanted to do with our business and with our life and with serving other people. And so anyway, I do have friends who are at the $100,000 mark doing just this digital real estate model. So yeah, no matter where your goals are at, the business model fits it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that you came in with that goal of an extra 3K a month, because I think that's where we all start out, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's
an extra
great.
3 to 5K, like that makes a huge difference.
That's game changing. That's what some people's normal salary is, right?
Correct. And now you're to the point where several years later, you've gone on to nearly 10x that original goal. So
yeah.
Amazing. That's one thing I love about the digital real estate model as well, is there is no ceiling, right? It's potentially just uncapped earning potential. So
love that.
Now let's go into kind of the breakdown of what the model really looks like. Obviously, you mentioned you target more of the home service industry, work with contractors and providers in that field. Explain what that really looks like, what ranking and renting even means, just the basic definition in your words of what digital real estate is.
Okay, cool. So digital real estate is simply capitalizing on Google, right? Whenever any human on planet Earth needs something, they Google it, right? And if it's a service that they need, they're going to Google like landscaper near me, right? Air AC repair near me, right? And then they're going to go, and anytime we do a search like that, you'll notice that there's this thing called the map pack, right? There's a map and there's 3 businesses listed, right? And then there's usually 10 other businesses listed on the front page. So the idea is this, like, when you understand what it takes to have Google list your business there, you can literally start writing your own checks. Because if I build a website and I follow all of Google's rules, Google will put me on that map pack, or it'll put me in on those 10 business listings, right? And then that means people are going to call my company, my website. So the idea is this, like, I own the asset, I own the website. And if I own the website, then I can take those calls and those emails that people might submit, and I can literally now go sell those leads to a contractor, or better yet, tell a contractor, hey, for $500 or $750 or $1,000 a month, depending on the industry, right? I'm just going to exclusively give you all of these leads, every single one of them, all these calls, all these emails, all these potential jobs are yours for just a small monthly fee. And that's pretty much what digital real estate is. You just think about each of those websites being like an apartment complex. I own the apartment complex and I'm just renting it out to whoever wants to be there.
I love it. Yeah. And that's why we call it digital real estate as well, just because it's the idea of building a digital asset, which let me ask you this, Zach. Can anybody build these, or does it take an expert web developer, designer, coder to be able to do it? Or really, how simple can it be? How much knowledge of SEO does someone need coming into this?
So that's a really interesting question. My last name is Coder. And so when people find out that I build websites, they're like, oh, that's ironic. Or some people are like, did you change your last name? I'm like, no, why would I do it? Like, I had never built a website ever in my life. I had no idea what that even meant, right? Like, I thought it was just voodoo magic. I didn't know how that all worked. But we have success. We have dozens and dozens of these sites, right? Like that. You don't really need, as long as you can follow some instructions, right? You can build a website. It really isn't that tricky. My 16-year-old son was in here the other day because he was like, he's at that age where he's like, I need to earn some money. I'm like, well, I'll teach you how to build websites. And his initial same thing, he's like, I've never built a website before. I'm like, let me show you how. We're getting through it. And at a certain point, he's just like, oh, this really isn't that difficult. I mean, you just have to follow some steps and then it's done. That's building the website, right? Ranking a website. Well, I will say this about ranking a website. I think first and foremost, you need to do really good research, because what I like to do is I like to go into areas where all the competition, so like all the HVAC guys or all the landscaping guys, they're doing a terrible job with their marketing. And the reason I do that is because, okay, this is going to be a terrible way to explain this, but if I had to get into a fist fight with a kindergartner or a senior linebacker, I'd much rather fight the kindergartner. So I go and look for, that's terrible. I would never hit
Mhm.
Jeff. I
Mhm.
like to go into areas where like all of the competition are kindergartners and their websites are kindergarten websites. I know I'll be able to rank a site. Okay. The basic is content. Like if someone does a search for HVAC repair and I build a site that has 15 pages and all the other competitors have 2 pages, Google's going to like me better and rank my site better, right? I don't want to dive too deep into it, but that's really what SEO comes down to. Let's research. Let's find areas that are really, really, really going to be easier, kindergarten to third grade level. Let's build a site there because I know I can rank a site there.
Yeah.
And again, it comes down to like content. And then there are a few technical things like building backlinks. That's a little bit technical, but it's not hard. It's not hard at all. Like, yeah, it can take some time. But again, that's why I go after kindergarten, because it takes a whole lot less time for Google to rank my site than if I was going against, big metropolitan areas with these websites that have been around forever and they've got hundreds of pages. I'm just like, no.
Yeah. No,
Was that helpful? I'm sorry.
no, I think that's the perfect way to explain it is we don't have to be the best website designers and even SEO guys. We just have to learn how to do our research to find the low-hanging fruit, which, side note, there's tons of it, right? It's everywhere.
Tons of it.
And as
Can
long as
I just say something really quick?
Yeah.
I've been part of your training group, and it was so fun to shoot the training. And literally, as I was shooting the training, I found low hanging fruit while I was shooting an example demo. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be so easy. And like I built the site and ranked the site doing the training. Like, it was just like, oh, okay. Like it's everywhere. You're right. It exists everywhere.
Which is another great point, right? So if you don't know already, Zach is one of our coaches within Remote Business Academy. He has filmed dozens and dozens of training modules, and like I said, helps coach our clients. And you can literally watch, as a member of our community, you can watch him step by step build and rank a site that he then rents out to a contractor, right? So pretty awesome stuff. So to recap, it's building a simple site, ranking it on Google. Once it's ranked on Google, it's going to bring in a lot of interest from potential customers. They're going to be calling the number on the website, sending emails to see if somebody can come and give them that service that they're looking for. And then all we do is we then take that website and rent it out to a contractor that can actually do the work that pays us passive income month after month to be able to have access to all those leads coming in, right?
I love it. Absolutely right. And I'll say this, the beauty of this rank and rent model, this digital real estate model with the training you already have is this. And I don't know if your current members understand the power of it, because what you just described is like build a site, rank a site, get some leads coming in, and then rent it out to a client. Well, I've almost completely reversed that entire process because of the way that you guys do it. So for instance, if you can use Facebook to generate some leads, it becomes really easy to approach a contractor because now I already have leads in hand. I don't have a website or a property built yet, but that's okay because I can use Facebook to get them leads. They don't need to understand the whole system. They just, because these contractors don't care. They're like, I don't care. I don't care. If calls are coming in and jobs are coming in, that's money. That's what I care about. So using your system, your training, I can get leads in hand, go to someone and say, hey, I've got a system in place, and then start feeding them those leads. And then while I've got that client, now I can build the site, rank the site. Because for me, running Facebook ads is a good way to do it, except that like you have to constantly work at it. Once a website is ranked, it's passive. I have sites that I literally have not touched in 3 to 5 years that constantly produce. I haven't changed a thing. I haven't done anything from the day that I built them, the day that I like nothing. And so that's what I really like about the passive. But again, like if you can use Facebook, like your training, to bring in leads in hand, you can land a client like that. And then you can worry about building and ranking the site and getting leads to come in organically.
I love it. Love it. Yeah. No, if for those of you watching that don't know already, Dakota and I specialize in lead brokering, which is exactly what Zach was explaining. We use Facebook and Instagram ads to generate leads, send them to contractors, and then take a commission off of every job that they complete. So it really goes hand in hand with digital real estate, where these websites come into play. We get them ranked, we rent them out. Now, I think this has been a really productive interview, Zach. I think for people watching, they now understand that digital real estate is doable, right? That anyone can do it, that there is tons of potential, the untappedness, if you will, of this model. What would you rate it on a scale from 1 to 100? Like, how saturated or how tapped out is this market?
The answer to that question is there's no limit. I mean, yes, there are a lot of people who do lead gen. Yes, there are people who have rank and rent, but when people think that and they think that's scarcity, that comes from a scarcity mindset. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 10 years and it has not slowed down. It has not slowed down. Google might have changed and some of the rules might have changed, but that's okay, because like people are constantly on Google. People are not going to stop building websites. Companies are not going to stop existing. Contractors are not going to close down their doors. Like, everybody needs Google. Everybody needs the internet. Everybody needs websites. And so for that reason, like, to say that it's oversaturated, sometimes I hear people say that, like, oh, well, it's oversaturated. It's like, no, it's not. Like, I don't know why that, I think that just comes from, like, again, a fear or a scarcity mindset. And there is abundance everywhere.
Yeah.
It's untapped.
No, I agree. And I think you're spot on, right? I think it comes more of a place of just fear or nervousness, right? I mean, one of my mentors always says, you really can have it all, right? And so I just always remember that, and especially on projects like this, right? Especially when we're working with people that are brand new, have never started a side hustle, have never built a website, have never generated leads. You really can have it all, right? There is enough to go around. The market will never be oversaturated.
Never.
That is just kind of a smaller way of thinking, right? Which when you can get above that, then you're free, right?
So let me share just a personal experience that happened today. The very first website I ever built was for a carpet cleaner here in town. Actually, I didn't have a client. I just was like, I was experimenting. I had never built a website before. It took me way too long to build the website, but I got the website up. I got it ranked. Calls started coming in. Reached out to the very first guy on my list because I do my research and I figure out who do I really kind of want to work with. First guy I called, sent him some leads, sent him more leads the next day, and he called me and's like, dude, how much? Let's start this thing. I have had that client for 8.5 years. 8.5 years. This morning, I get the text saying, hey, basically, I'll just said this, like, hey, thanks so much. This has been incredible, but I no longer am in need of your leads. Now, I got to tell you that was kind of a punch in the stomach because I didn't see it coming. And I was like, okay. And I had a brief moment of like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I've had that, you know what I mean? But I think it's only because I've had that rented out for 8.5 years and it just threw me for a loop. I went onto Facebook in another group and I was just kind of sharing with people like, hey, guess what? My 8.5 year client just dropped me. All these comments from people that were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What are you going to do? And I was like, whoa, wait, this is not a problem. Because do you know how many other carpet cleaners are in town? I literally got on the phone and I called 3 of them. And I've already got a guy on the hook. Like, you just have to be a problem solver. It's not that the market is tapped out. It's that you have to be a problem solver. You have to be like, okay. And because I've done my research, you guys, it's like there are more than 20 pages of carpet cleaners in my local area.
Yeah.
Somebody needs it. Somebody, yeah. And guess what? I'm just going to do the same thing I did 8.5 years ago because the site produces, the site produces calls. I'm literally just going to call a guy and be like, hey, can you take some referrals? And just start the process. Once he sees they're legitimate, it'll be so easy to come to him and be like, hey, you want to work out something where I can send these to you on a full-time basis? He's going to say yes. He or she's going to say yes. I'll land a client probably in the next couple of days. It doesn't have to be tricky. You just have to have your mind's got to be right. You're right. You can have it all.
Exactly. And also, should mention that that site over the last 8.5 years has paid for itself by now, right? Because how much did it cost you to set up that site, and how much does it cost to maintain every month?
$20 a month is if I break it down by like, okay, I've got a call tracking number on there, I have to pay yearly hosting fees, and I have to pay like a yearly, domain. It's less than $20 a month. When I initially landed him, it's been $350 a month. So 350 times 12 times 8.5. I mean, that's $36,000.
Yeah. It's cost you $20 a month.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like what's 20 times 12 times 8.5? Like no, that's not right. It's cost me maybe $1,000. I mean, not even that. Like, it's ridiculous.
Exactly. No, I love it. Well, I think that about wraps up our interview, Zach. I know you've got some coaching to jump on here soon. Yeah. Any last piece of advice? Because chances are a lot of people watching this interview will be really new to who Dakota and I are, who you are, what digital real estate is, what digital assets are, how we use them to profit within the home service industry. Any last piece of advice you can give to somebody who's, exploring this as an option, who really just is looking for a way to supplement their income, or maybe just wants a little more flexibility, trying to get out of a job they don't like, somebody who wants to change what their financial situation looks like? Do you have any advice that you want to leave them with?
I do. If you're brand new to this and this is something you're considering, look, I know this is going to sound like kumbaya garbage, but it's just not. It really does come down to mindset. I know, and I've proven it over and over again, and there are hundreds of people who have proven this system over and over and over again. It really, though, does come down to mindset. If you're the type of person who jumps from thing to thing to thing to thing, nothing's going to work for you. If you're the type of person who sees an obstacle and sits down and cries, nothing's going to work for you. Like, nothing is going to work for you. But my recommendation is, and again, over my 9-year journey, I have spent a lot of money on courses and training between the ones that are worth it and the ones that aren't. The ones that are worth it are people who are in the industry, the gurus, Derek, Dakota, myself. We're still working in the business. We're not just selling a training. That is the hallmark of a successful group, because then when you come across questions, we can answer them. We can help you because we're doing it. We're right in the trenches. That's what I would recommend. Find a program where someone's in the trenches, like this program, right? Also, the support. I mean, a lot of times if you buy a program and there's no support, you just buy the program, they're like, good luck, try to figure it out. I'd be wary about something like that. But like, how many support calls are there every single week?
Yeah, we have 3, quickly moving to 4. So nearly, every day of the week.
And so, and this is going to sound a little bit harsh, but so it's not the program, because the coaches are doing it and we're making it work, and we're helping students, hundreds of students making it work. It's not the support, because there's plenty of it to be offered. So it really does come down to what's between your ears. Like, you have got to train yourself to see abundance. You've got to train yourself to say, this is possible. You got to train yourself to be a problem solver when a problem arises. And if you can do that and stick to a thing and not jump to Amazon drop shipping and whatever, and this and that, because there's millions of ways to make money online. But the reason I love this is because it's as close to passive as I think you can find out there. It really, truly is. So that's sorry, that was a lot, but that's the advice I'd have for you.
No, that is great. I love it. Thank you so much, Zach. And I think you're spot on with that advice. I even have a plaque still in my office at home that says, nothing works unless you do. Right. Because anything can work. That's the truth of it. Right. So you got to just focus, hunker down, and, it's never going to work unless you do. Right. So,
yeah.
Well, awesome. Thanks again so much for your time, Zach. And if you are watching this and just getting to know who Dakota and I are, We are the owners of Remote Business Academy, where we teach lead brokering and digital real estate with coaches like the likes of Zach and others that are here to support you. If you want to learn more about what it would look like to actually work with us, you can fill out an application on the next page. If you click the link below this video, it'll take you to an application. Fill out the questions so we can get to know you a little bit better and see if it would be a good fit for you and for us. And we can jump on a call and see how we can move forward and get you to the point where you're making, like Zach, his initial goal of an extra $3,000 a month, now going on to about $30,000 a month. We want to help you get to that point as well. So fill out the application, book a call. We'd love to speak with you, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much, Zach.
Thank you, Derek. Bye.
Bye.